Hey guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy and welcome back, and we're now on lesson 9 of our Funk Essentials Level 1 course. And we're coming towards the end of this second unit and getting together this kind of James Brown style track, right? And now we just got to do the turnaround. And the turnaround is a very different thing in funk than it is in blues, okay? And once again, even the terminology turnaround only typically happens in those earlier funk tracks, so that kind of James Brown style soul funk, I guess you'd say, because it's so deeply rooted in the blues. You know, it's the natural next progression from the kind of blues music of the time. So we don't use the turnaround term that often after this style, but it's so important to get it down because it is the foundation of the style. So we're going to learn the turnaround, how to do it, why it's so important, and just how it sounds so big. So pick up your guitar and let's get started. Hey guys, if you've just joined us here on YouTube for this Funk Essentials quest, then please do go ahead and check out the website. It's all absolutely free. You get the full write-up, you get the tab, the chord diagrams, the scale diagrams, everything you need to get the most out of this course. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to us here on YouTube and leave us a comment. We make sure that we get back to every single one of you. Okay, so turnarounds. Now, what are we actually talking about when it comes to turnarounds in funk? If you've done the blues courses, the Blues Essentials Level 1, 2, and 3, we've gone through a whole range of turnarounds, right? Or your more classic kind of... whatever, something like that. Or you might even think of a turnaround in a piece of jazz, might be like a 2-5-1. This is a turnaround. You can use secondary dominance, Blues Essentials Level 3, loads of stuff there to turn around things. But basically what it fundamentally means is that you're coming to the end of a loop, of a big loop, and in funk, we're dealing with the end of a giant loop often, which using the 5 chord of the key pulls you right back to that 1, okay? So in this instance, we're using the chord of a D13, okay? So the actual turnaround sounds nothing more complicated than this. That's the turnaround, okay? But it's where you put it and how you play it that makes it so effective. So first of all, the theory. When we go to the 5 chord of the D, D7, however you want to play that, wherever you want to play that. I mean, you can play it everywhere, all over the neck. The D7, when you go to that 5 chord, that is the kind of the music theory equivalent of going, we're turning around, we're going right back, we need to resolve, we need to resolve, we need to resolve. And we resolve to the 1 chord. So if G is your 1 chord, then you know the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 chord is going to be a D, and you get that nice classic 5-to-1 cadence. Okay, it's absolutely quintessential. Same thing goes for our kind of James Brown style funk here. When we finally go to that 5 chord, and once again with James Brown, he will talk you through it on the track. You're going to hear it. He's going to tell you, we're going to the turnaround. We're going to the turnaround. And then when we hit the turnaround, it's normally short, sharp, snappy. There's brass, there's stabs, and we're back into the groove. So just one thing I want to do here is I just want to show you this, all right? This is gonna sound great. So this is the 4 chord. What did we hear there? For me, we heard something ending and starting again. That's the point of the turnaround. It brings you right back to the start in a really cool way. So all we did is at the end of the C9 groove, which we learned last time, we move over to a D13 chord. Okay, now, first things first, you could play a D7, you could play a D9, you could play any kind of D dominant chord. You could even, if you wanted to get into altered chords, and you could play those there as well. But from our point of view as a kind of, in this style, we're gonna play a D13. And that looks like this. Okay. So the theory behind this chord, or in terms of fretting it first, let's start there. The flat 7, the 3rd, the 13. You can even add the 9th at the top there, and you've got the D in the root note. Okay, so you've got root, flat 7, major 3rd, 13. Remember that the 13 is just the 6th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up an octave, okay, which you're adding on top, so it's kind of adding to the chord, okay? So you've got your dominant 7th chord, and on top of that, you're adding the 13th to make it like a 13th chord. You can also add the 9th into that, and if you want to make really specifically, theoretically correct, you would actually have the flat 7, the 9th, and the 13th in there, ideally, and maybe even the 11th. But from our point of view as guitar players, we must have the 3rd, we must have the flat 7, the root, we can play it, or the bass player can play it, and then the 13, which is this. Okay? And I like to play it like that. So I've got my 1st finger there, 2nd finger there, 3rd finger there. So that's 10th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret on the D, G, and B string. Really easy chord to fret. And if you want to do the high E string as well, you can add the 9th on top of that, which sounds great, I have to admit, that sounds fantastic. That's an optional. And then of course you can choose whether to hit the low E string or not. In this instance, we're just gonna hit the high from the D string, okay? So once we've got the chord, and the reason why I've chosen a D13 is I just like the sound of that 13. You know, it's an optional note, it's a melodic part of the chord. It's not necessary, it could just be a D7. But I really like that 13, because I feel like then when that goes down to the G9, you get an even deeper resolve, in my mind. So, so we've got the chord, the 13, okay? And now what we're gonna do is just stab at that. So in terms of the rhythm pattern, we're going 1 and 2 and 3. So we're gonna literally stab those notes. 1 and 2 and 3, okay? Now, the stabbing, the staccato motion is all about just squeezing, pulling off, squeezing, pulling off, squeezing, pulling off, okay? So we've already kind of covered that technique. It just happens a lot here and quite quickly. Okay, you can even on the last beat, on that 3rd beat, you can slide away. Sounds really cool to do that as well. Okay, and just on a kind of purely musical level and arrangement level, that's such a great sound. When you've got the bass player doing that, the drummer doing that, the guitar player doing that, and even some, you know, some trumpets, some sax, trombone, whatever you've got in your brass ensemble, if they're all doing that, it sounds massive. It's part of the turnaround. It's not just the notes we're playing, it's how we're playing them and the instrumentation behind it. Because when you go from that, you know, massive attack, every single instrument on that stage is doing exactly the same thing towards you. And then you go from that to everyone breaking off into the, and then the bass player's doing its own thing, the drummer's doing its thing. It's just a huge sound. It's all part of the turnaround in funk. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the whole thing. So I'm going to go from the G9 chord to the C9 to the turnaround, and we're going to hear the whole thing that you need to practice. So let's get the drums on. We're going to do it 80 BPM now to get us just that little bit closer to the actual speed of the track, which I believe is 100 BPM, or potentially, yeah, I think around 100 BPM. That's all over on the website. Remember, if you head on over there, you have the chance to play along with these audio files, the slower versions of them. You can really start to get it together. So here we go. Let's do the whole thing up to that turnaround. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times more. That's 5. This is 6. This is 7. And last time, before the 4 chord. Last time. And we're gonna go to the 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we're back. It's very satisfying. Especially when you start playing that along to the track, you're gonna really enjoy that. It's such a massive sound. So there we go. We've got the whole part together now. We've even added our 5 chord for the turnaround. And I just want you, before the last lesson, we're just gonna go into really fine details. I want you to just try and get that together as well as you can across a drum beat in the region of 70 or 80 BPM, if you can. Like I said, you know, the track is a little bit of a jump up from there, and I'm not asking you to, by the end of this unit, be ready to do that speed yet. We're just working up towards that, and it'll be a case of you need to get it into your practice regime, into your daily practice, to make sure that you are able to gradually get it up to that speed, okay? But for now, stick it around the 70 BPM mark, and I'll see you in the next lesson. All right, that's it for me for this lesson, guys. If you want to head over to the next lesson, all you have to do is click here somewhere. And if you want to start from the beginning of the course, the full playlist is here. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing how you're getting on, and we'll do our best to get back to every single comment or question that you guys have.